are you guys? Communicating with each other, but also with spirit, with God, universe, whatever you guys call it. That's what's today. All right, let's grab that screen. Here we go. Day 4. How do you communicate? That's what we've been talking about for the other 3 days. Is all about communication and the 4 different ways to do it. Right? Audio knower, visual, and feeler. So again, this is what we've been doing. This is what you guys have been learning. This is everything that we've been talking about. But I've had to give it to you guys in a human way first, because it's a little easier to understand when I talk to you guys in terms that you actually get. You know, how we learned in school, like which way that you guys learned, which was your favorite way to learn, how did you prosper when you learned the way that you really learn well, right? Audios. Words and sounds. So clairaudience, clear hearing. Now we're getting a little bit more into the spiritual end of it, right? Clear hearing. So this is where if we were talking to spirit and we were going to have the message come back, to sense it, chances are we would hear it. There's in the beginning, years and years and years ago when I first started, it was interesting because, of course, I'm a visual, so I see things first. And what ended up happening is I remember practicing, and all I seen from spirit, the message was this line, right? And I'm thinking, what the heck? So I'm in my mind, and all I see is this line. I'm thinking, what does that represent? I'm like, okay, a mountain. And then later on, it was like a mountain. I could see a mountain. And then it was, I could notice the trees, and then I could notice the wind a little bit in the trees, and then I could notice that there was animals, or you know, like I could see like deer or something in there. And then later, like we're talking maybe days, weeks, months later, right? And so then I could hear it all of a sudden. I could hear the sounds of the birds. I could hear the sounds of the water, maybe from a stream nearby. And so each time it just got more and more and more and more. And then I was able to hear. But it took practice for this one. Okay, so the audio traits, just a quick little reminder, okay? Person who senses through talking, anything to do with words, hearing it or having it written, okay? Very point form, very factual people. Extremely good at spelling, grammar, and punctuation. So that's just a quick little reminder of what audio is. Okay, instructions. Now we have knower. Thoughts and time, okay? That is very, very important. If you have to give people a lot of time or they can't make decisions fast, chances are they're a knower. Now, clear knowing, claircognizance. Okay, so clear knowing is the spiritual part of this. And these are then thought forms in their mind. But some of the normal traits that a knower would have, they think, they're thinkers. In love, they just know that they are, or they don't know that they are. Okay, they don't actually show love, they just know love. Learns by time to analyze. So they need time. They have to have time to get it all through. They look at something in all different ways before they actually know it. They're very cautious people, or they seem to be very cautious people. Okay, they're not a lot of spontaneous. When people are spontaneous, those are usually the knower and visuals. If it looks good and feels good, they'll do it. A lot of times, knowers, it seems like they're over-analyzing, but that's just how they do it. They have to think about all the possible scenarios. Visuals. So, sight and pictures, okay? Anything they can see is real to them. So clairvoyance, clear seeing, and their traits. A person who senses through seeing loves to see it in material things. When speaking, usually tells a story, learns by stories, pictures, or to see it done first. Talk very quickly so that they don't lose their train of thought. Okay, now yes, some of you guys might have noticed the little double thingy here. I'm going, oh great, I missed that the first time. All right, audios, no words, don't worry. It's only one little picture frame. It'll be okay. Here we go, feeler. Touch and emotions. Clairsentience, clear feeling. A person who senses through their feelings. Now this means speed. This isn't a clock for time. This is a speed time. How fast can I do it? They have to feel it. They love touching it. And they learn by doing. They can be a little moody, a little emotional, because it's feelings, right? They love to be active and play sports. All right, so back in 1999, my company was called Aurora's Natural Health Center. And this is where the real magic began. This is where I started teaching. Some of you guys have heard my story of how that all happened. It's kind of amazing how spirit has its own humor. Now, when I had that school, I had to be a school. I didn't yet have my school, but I did open up a teaching center. And I remember praying up and saying, I need my students to understand me. I need the message to get across, okay? And the message that came back to me was celestial languages, the audio, knower, visual, and feeler. So back then, I remember, because I wasn't a teacher, I didn't go to school to become a teacher. Again, if you know my story, I just ended up having is actually the real word. I had to be. There was no choice in the matter. And again, another story for a different day, if you haven't heard it already. So with it, though, I would be teaching a class to the best of my abilities back then, back in 1999. And I could tell by the looks on some of the students' faces that they didn't all get it. And I'm thinking, okay, what didn't they get? So luckily, I'm a visual, so I could tell when their faces changed and that they weren't getting something. Now, some of them got it. Some of them were doing it. They had no problem. And then others were like, they were missing something, obviously. So then I'd ask them, okay, tell me what's going on. And then they would tell me, so then I'd take a breath and I'd try it again. And then sometimes I would try it again and try it again. Way in the beginning, I didn't know a knower needed time. So here I am in that hour or 3 hours that we had trying to jam pack the information in so that they got it, and they still didn't get it, and I'm frustrated not knowing they have to go home and sleep on it. They have to go home and figure it out. Okay, so Spirit luckily answered me, and these are the ways that I received the answers. Now, it took me, I guess I had the school for 14 years, so I'm going to say at least 14 years to actually really know this stuff. And then back in, when did I publish that book? So 2018 there, when I published Your Persona, The Mask You Wear. Now, I hadn't had the school for quite a few years since then, but that's when the book had come out and got more into this. But I learned this stuff way back in '99. Isn't this the beautiful Auroras? I just loved, because this is what I had the name under, Auroras Borealis. You guys, this is a photo that you guys, Jerry Trudeau has taken, and they have a Facebook group. Any of you guys that love the Aurora Borealis, go to the Aurora Borealis and Canada's Yukon Facebook group and go join it. Oh my gosh, the pictures are amazing of what you're going to see. Again, energy, amazing energy, you guys. So why did I call it celestial languages? I told you that it was the answer that came back, but it's because it's the language of spirit. If you are asking and praying for help, how do you know if you're getting the answers, right? So we can pray all we want, but if we're not actually getting the message back, one, we're not communicating, and two, you're not then creating your dreams into reality if you're not figuring this out. So how do you communicate with God and Spirit and Creator? I'm not saying just talking, right? All of us can do tongues. We can all talk blah, 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 blah. But until you communicate, it's a two-way. It also comes back to us. Okay, so part of the job is communication is actually when we are also able to listen and interpret. So, did you hear Spirit? Do you just know Spirit is there? Did you see Spirit, or do you feel Spirit? Okay, now this is why I did 3 other days on the human stuff, because if you can't tell the human stuff, then I'm not quite sure how you guys are going to jump right into this. One, it will probably scare the pants out of you. And two, though, many of you are curious on this stuff. Lots of people have had stories about telling ghost stories, and they thought their name was being called and turned around and nobody's there. Felt something touch their face or felt something on them. And lots of people have knowings. Many people I know who are knowers know who's calling before they pick up that phone. Okay, these are interpreting. You're interpreting the energy that's coming back. So again, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentient, audio knower, visual feeler. 4, okay? Now, they say that we have a 6th sense, right? Your extra perception. So ESP, extrasensory perception. Being able to tell something that you can't actually put a finger on and detail, right? So some of us can hear, some of us just know, some of us can see, and some of us can feel. But you know what, you guys? I've been teaching the Intuitive Life program since 1999, and it teaches all the different intuitive stuff. I haven't yet had a student that can't do this. Once they figure out their way and how they do it, you got it. And that's then, now you're communicating. Now you're interpreting. So Spirit communicates using the celestial language. And that's why I call it celestial languages, because now we're talking to the spirit world. Audios, words, voices, sounds. Knower, thoughts and time. Visual, sight and dreams. Feeler, touch, feelings and emotions. Shift happens, creates some magic, you guys. Of course, there is way more to learn than what I've been sharing, but it gives you a taste of it, and it gives you some really inspirational, motivational, and transformational information, you guys. This stuff, even if you never took anything else and you rewatch these videos that I've just done for you over and over again, you'd be amazed what you'd learn. Plus, too, if you go on to my YouTube channel, I have lots of free stuff there for you guys. And for those that are ready to move on and actually go somewhere with this stuff, don't worry. I have all that stuff too. I've been doing that for 20 years. So day 5, you guys, is on how to develop the other channels, right? We got the 4, audio, knower, visual, feeler. We know that you're one of them, and we know how you learn. If you guys get into your persona stuff, then you also know how that you love. But day 5 gets into how to develop the other channels. But for today, you're going to go back to your email and you are going to answer the challenge question, put it into the Facebook comment area so that I get to see and others get to share with you their excitement too. So have fun with this one, and just know that you are perfect just the way you are. If you're an audio, own it. If you're a visual, own that. If you're a knower, please own that. Know it's very special. And you feelers, extremely special too. All 4. There's nothing better, worse. They're all just the way that they are. And once you know who you are and how to use those, you're going to skyrocket. It's like the universe. There's no end to what you can do with all this information. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.